What is going down, Sourdough Squad? We are checking in live from Indianapolis. I made it. We flew in red eye, no sleep, but we continue to get ready and prep for the NFL Combine that starts tomorrow. So what we're going to do today is we're going to have a little bit of Q&A, a little bit of just chopping it up, checking in with the folks and prepare for what's about to come tomorrow and the rest of the week. But again, here from Indianapolis, good to see you guys. Make sure you drop an SDS in the chat. Let's get this thing cooking. We got a big week of content coming. Let's go.
Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it.
I'm already seeing the comments about the McDonald's Wi-Fi. Full disclosure, we are running a hotspot off my cell phone right now because my good friend and partner, Jordan Elliott, is knocked out, and I don't want to wake him up. So I need to get the Wi-Fi password, and I will get it eventually. But right now, we are cooking off the mobile hotspot. So apologies in advance for any McDonald's Wi-Fi issues that will absolutely occur on this live, but it's all good. We're cooking anyways. So shout out to all you guys. That's right, Splash Cousin, aka Jordan Elliott, and I arrived early this morning. We got into Indy at 6, and that's about 3 o'clock our time back in the Bay Area. So it's been a wild ride. We got to our Airbnb, quite the wild Airbnb situation that we got. We are staying in a building that is like 150 years old. So it's quite the experience. Like we are in the good old days. Now the Airbnb is done up really nice. But I would be lying to you if I said it wasn't a trip getting into here. It's been it's crazy. We walked, like, we got right off of our elevator, and it was kind of like a scene out of The Shining. All the carpets like ripped up, but we're here for the experience. We're gonna have Jason Aponte is gonna be here at about 5 tonight. KP of Niners Nation is gonna be tomorrow. And we're going to get cooking up, man. We're going to get into all the good stuff here in Indianapolis. Obviously, tomorrow is going to be a big day for general managers and coaches. So we'll be able to hear from also John Lynch. I believe John Lynch will be speaking to the media at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So really looking forward to that conversation with John Lynch. Definitely going to try to get a question in. But I'm also really looking forward to talking to some other guys. I'm looking forward to talking to Rand Carthon, who's now the GM of the Titans. Mike McDaniel, of course, we know, head coach of the Dolphins. I'm even thinking about asking a question to Nick Sirianni or Howie Roseman in regards to would we call it a rivalry? I don't know. I'm curious to get Nick Sirianni's take on some of the back and forth leading up to the Super Bowl. So I might ask him a question or two. I'm contemplating if I want to go talk to Trent Baalke. That's one that I'm gonna have to go kind of scope it out in real time, because if I have a sense that when I go and see Trent Baalke, my old draft PTSD is gonna start kicking up. So I have to keep my composure. But I am looking forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a busy day. So I'm going to be posting clips from all of our questions, all of our interviews. Again, we have an opportunity to basically talk to, every head coach or general manager that's in attendance. Unfortunately, Kyle Shanahan will not be available. I really was hoping that uh, that would have happened. I was really looking, but I think it's been a couple years now that Kyle Shanahan hasn't come to the combine. So, and he's not the only one. I think the Rams didn't come. And there's 2 or 3 other teams where their coaching staffs didn't come to the combine. So uh, it'll be all right. But I definitely was hoping that Kyle would be here. But shout out to Kyle. Hopefully he is in Cabo, getting away from football for a little bit, and let John Lynch do all the talking for right now, and give Kyle a break. Get back in the lab, start drawing up plays for Trey Lance and Brock Purdy as we get ready to head into a wild season ahead of us. But it starts with the combine, man. It starts with a lot of the work that the scouting department is going to do here. As we know, the San Francisco 49ers have done a phenomenal job of being able to identify and hit on mid to late round talent. So that is where the San Francisco 49ers, as we know, as fans, we don't got a lot of draft picks, right? We don't have a draft pick until pick 99. Don't fret. I know it might be a little bit boring on draft day, especially day one, and maybe in a little bit of day two. But what we know is that the San Francisco 49ers have done a fantastic job of being able to identify talent in mid to late rounds and turning those mid round, late round prospects and turning them into gems. Think about some of the names that can fit into that category. Think of Fred Warner, 3rd round draft pick. Think of George Kittle, 5th round draft pick. Think of Dre Greenlaw, 5th round draft pick. Think of as recently of Talanoa Hufanga, 5th round draft pick, first team all pro bowler in his first season starting, really in the NFL. You can even go back to DJ Jones, 6th rounder. So the San Francisco 49ers have done a phenomenal job of being able to identify traits. I'm curious what those traits may be, but they have done a fantastic job nonetheless of being able to identify mid to late round talent and turn them into some of the better players at their position. I mean, we talked about George Kittle being a 5th round draft pick. He's top 2 at his position. You talk about Fred Warner being a 3rd round draft pick. He's the gold standard of what NFL middle linebackers should look like in today's new kind of passing generation. So clearly, the 49ers have been able to find success in those late rounds. So that's what we're going to be doing out here. Is there's still plenty of work to be done. And I wouldn't be surprised if the San Francisco 49ers use some of that capital. They have a couple 3rd round draft picks, couple 4th round draft picks, and they move up in the draft. So that is what they didn't do any trades last year. And I really do think that was kind of a residual effect of trading all that capital the year before to move up and go get Trey Lance. And it was kind of like a situation where they didn't have a 1st round draft pick and they didn't want to just keep throwing picks. They'd maybe take a little step back. So they didn't do any trades last year, but maybe this year they're able to get some leeway to move up in the draft. So I wouldn't be surprised if the San Francisco 49ers move up into maybe mid to late second if there is like a Drake Jackson type prospect. This year's Abe Lucas starts to slide down the draft board, and they're like, listen, we got to go get this guy. Then I would be absolutely okay with that. Uh, but let's take a look at kind of what the 49ers are working with right now in regards to draft compensation. So we can kind of look and kind of see how we want to attack kind of how we're going to break down and look for prospects. What's good, DJ? Shout out my boy. Yes, sir. Don't care. You know the vibes. DJ says, "What's up? Smash that like button, SDS." But if we take a look at this little breakdown, this is from 49ers of the 49ers picks that they currently have. They have a 5th round draft pick. They also have the 5th round draft pick that they got for Jeff Wilson, and then 2 7th round draft picks. One of those 7th round draft picks came from the trade of Jonas Griffith, who's now the Broncos starting middle linebacker. But you can also see how many comp picks they have. They have an insane amount of comp picks. Obviously, maybe if you forget why the San Francisco 49ers don't have as many draft picks, you only see the 2 5s and the 2 7s. We spent a good portion of this draft, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and I believe a 5th next year on Christian McCaffrey. So that's part of this draft. I think that's something that we have to keep in mind, is that we kind of drafted CMC already. So CMC is a part of this draft, but we got production out of him last year. And obviously, Christian McCaffrey coming over to the San Francisco 49ers was a huge addition and turned out to be one of the greatest midseason trades of all time. But you can think this is why the San Francisco 49ers felt very comfortable in trade and sending what they sent to get Christian McCaffrey, because look at the comp picks that they are getting in return. 3rd round for Robert Saleh, Martin Mayhew hires. You get another 3rd rounder for the Mike McDaniel hire. And then you get an additional 3rd rounder for Rand Carthon being hired as a GM for the Titans. You get a 5th round comp pick for DJ Jones to the Broncos, and a 6th round pick for Arden Key signing with the Jags. You get a 7th for Raheem and a 7th for K1. So the 49ers still got a lot of picks. And again, we've seen what the 49ers can do in this territory, and they've been really successful. Again, we've gotten Fred Warner in the 3rd round, Kittle in the 5th round, Greenlaw in the 5th round, Talanoa Hufanga in the 5th round. You can even throw Diamador Lenore into the mix with the way he's been able to play at a higher level. And then Samuel Womack waiting in the wings could be another 5th round gem. So they've been able to hit Elijah Mitchell, 6th round draft pick. DJ Jones, 6th round draft pick. So the 49ers can get it done. So I'm excited to see what kind of talent is on the field this weekend at the Combine. Obviously, a lot of the coverage is going to be about the top names, right? The big guys, the 1st rounders, 2nd rounders. I'm gonna try to do my best to try to dive deeper into the guys that we maybe aren't being talked about as much, because the 49ers will have a better shot at being able to get one of those guys. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. D'Amico hire, I believe there would be another comp pick coming for the D'Amico hire as well, because I do believe this came out January 7th. So, yes, imagine the big picks, even for D'Amico as well. So Burford was a fourth rounder. Drew. Oh boy. McDonald's Wi-Fi is kicking up. Burford was a fourth rounder, but still, nonetheless, still mid to late round. So the 49ers got some cooking to do. A shout out Javi. What's good, Javi? What do you guys think about this? So right before we came on, Carson Wentz was released from the Washington Commanders. How are we feeling about that? Would you take a shot at Carson Wentz to be QB3 for the San Francisco 49ers? Or is he just too much damaged goods at this point? Not worth it. I think at this point, Taylor Heinicke is a better quarterback than Carson Wentz. I mean, the fall for Carson Wentz has been insane. I mean, at one point, Carson Wentz was looking like he was going to be one of the better young quarterbacks in the NFL. But you can see how quickly a fall from grace can happen. And Carson Wentz has never been the same. And, you haven't heard the greatest things about him in the locker room. You've seen the way the Washington Commanders rallied around Heinicke. It just doesn't feel like Wentz. I had a lot of high hopes for Wentz at one point, but I don't know. If he comes in as quarterback 3, then maybe we can have a conversation about it as an emergency quarterback, but I don't know. A lot of people are saying Jimmy to the Commanders. Well, listen, Jimmy could have went to the Commanders last year. Jimmy could have started for the Commanders last year. It was around this time at the Combine. We were here last year, and we heard all the rumblings here at the Combine that the Jimmy G market was heating up. Colts were involved. Commanders were involved. We even did a mock draft. Our first mock draft of draft season was a mock trade of Jimmy Garoppolo for the 11th overall pick to the Washington Commanders right after the report came out that the Commanders were willing to give up a first-round draft pick for Jimmy Garoppolo. And from everything that we've heard since that point, the Commanders were definitely willing to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. But remember, Jimmy Garoppolo had the surgery. All trade conversations completely came to a halt. It was a surprise to the San Francisco 49ers. And the rest is history. We know what happens after that. I don't think it's Commanders for Jimmy. I think Jimmy's going to have a market, and I think he's going to be able to go play somewhere that isn't the Commanders. I like their recent signing of Eric Bieniemy as their offensive coordinator. I think that's a great hire, and you pair him with Riverboat Ron, and they have good talent on that roster. They're just a dumpster fire organization, unfortunately. Their owner is just it makes it a really unattractive landing spot. So I really don't think Jimmy goes. I really don't think Jimmy goes to the Commanders. I think he has some other stuff to do. So it'll be interesting though. There's going to be some quarterback chips that need to fall. Where does Aaron Rodgers play? Do we get any other crazy trades? Where's Derek Carr going? Does Lamar Jackson get traded? I'm not going to lie. My gut feels like Lamar Jackson's going to get traded. I feel like there's going to be a big time blockbuster trade that we aren't expecting. And guess where that is going to go down? It's going to go down here in Indy. This is where all those talks happen. I mean, you're walking down the street, you're seeing scouts, you're seeing coaches, you're seeing general managers. I mean, you're seeing media personnel. The entire league is here. And so if there's any crazy trades that are going to go down, they're going to be discussed here where everyone is in attendance. So it is going to be fascinating to see what happens with Lamar. Again, the big discrepancy with Lamar Jackson right now is the difference between guaranteed money. And he wants a fully guaranteed contract. The Ravens don't feel like they're going to give him a fully guaranteed contract, but I guarantee you there's a desperate team out there that will give him a guaranteed contract. I mean, you saw what the Browns did. Do you think the Washington Commanders would give him a guaranteed contract? I mean, we've seen how desperate they can be. So we'll see. But don't be shocked if we get some crazy stuff to pop off here while at the combine. Definitely looking forward to all that. Brad, how are you not a fan of Cooper Rush? That's a hate crime on gingers. Well, just like I said about Carson Wentz, fellow ginger. Listen, you know, Andy, we got some gingers in the NFL right now, but unfortunately, they're not any gingers that I would like to play for the San Francisco Niners. Right now, I'm pretty content with our ginger on San Francisco 40 on my 5K. Like I said, I'm hot spotting off my cell phone right now, so anything could happen at any moment. Just keep that in mind. But Cooper Rush just doesn't move the needle for me. Andy Dalton doesn't move the needle for me. Yeah, I still got love for my fellow gingers, but maybe not. Maybe not for the 49ers, man. I want a high-end backup. I want a high-end, high-quality backup. Uh, Matt Ryan. I've heard a lot of people talk about potentially Matt Ryan, and of course, Matt Ryan was an MVP under Kyle Shanahan with the Atlanta Falcons. So that makes sense. He knows the scheme, knows all that stuff, right? Gets it, understands it. Seems like a seamless fit. I don't know if I like it. I'd probably be okay with it. Wouldn't love it. Again, if that's what it was, all right, I guess. It wouldn't be my first option, though. We did our tier breakdown of backup quarterbacks. Matt Ryan is not in my tier one. He might not even be in my tier two, but again, there are things to correlate and connect: scheme fit, understanding, personnel understanding, obviously understanding Kyle, how they operate. Could be a potential mentor for these guys, help be another like coach in the room. You could sell me in that instance. Other than that, not loving it. I'm not loving it. This is the one that I want. I'm not gonna lie. I got my tier one list. Taylor Heinicke is at the top. Taylor Heinicke, Jacoby Brissett are my like tier one backup quarterbacks. If you get me Jacoby Brissett or Taylor Heinicke, I think we're cooking. I'd feel really confident going into this season with obviously Trey Lance as quarterback one, Brock Purdy on ice. We don't know what's to come from Brock Purdy. I think we need to start tempering expectations that Brock Purdy will be available for week one. Can he be available? Of course. But we can start tempering our expectations to just be more wait and see. But that does still mean the 49ers need to get a quality backup, in my opinion. Taylor Heinicke would be the one for me. I would also like Jacoby Brissett. And see, this again, I think is going to be fascinating because the San Francisco 49ers have recently signed Steve Wilks as the 49ers defensive coordinator. I am very curious to see what his input is going to be on Sam Darnold. So you guys know the story. I'm not a Sam Darnold fan. I called Sam Darnold a bust from the jump. I watched Sam Darnold versus Cal live with my own eyes. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's got all the arm talent in the world. He's just a terrible decision maker and makes bonehead plays. And that has lived with him through his time in the NFL. I didn't think he was going to be a good quarterback. I didn't want the San Francisco 49ers to have anything to do with him. If you guys remember, Sam Darnold was heavily linked to the San Francisco 49ers in that 2021 offseason. Daniel Jeremiah, Bucky Brooks would continuously, for months on end, say, don't sleep on Darnold to the 49ers. They just kept talking about it, kept bringing it up. We know Mike Shanahan likes Sam Darnold. So there's some overlap there. What I'm going to be fascinated to kind of see it play out is how Steve Wilks feels about Sam Darnold, because as we know, Steve Wilks took over as interim head coach. They basically got rid of Baker. They cut Baker. They went with PJ Walker for a little bit, but then after PJ Walker kind of struggled, then they transitioned to Sam Darnold, and they started to see a little bit more success with Sam. Now, was Sam perfect or great or all of these things? Not necessarily. And I can even pull up some of his production under Steve Wilks, because you can see he got his first playing time in week 12. Then from week 14 on, he started. And you can see during that time, 7 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. It's not a terrible ratio. Again, it's not the best. 58.6% completion percentage. Not the best. You probably want to be closer in the 62, 63% range, but it's not far off. 1,100 passing yards. And I think the biggest thing for me is the touchdown to interception ratio. If Sam Darnold can take care of the football, I would be okay with Darnold. I would make a miraculous 180 flip and be okay with Sam Darnold as the San Francisco 49ers backup quarterback. Um, and so what I find fascinating is if Steve Wilks is going to what Steve is going to say. He's going to know better than anyone about Sam Darnold. So if the San Francisco 49ers are truly in that market for a QB3, you could sell to damn you could sell to Sam easily. Like, listen, come into Kyle's scheme. You have some familiarity with Steve already, but come into Kyle's scheme, learn this scheme that probably fits what you want to do as a quarterback. Again, it takes a lot of the pressure out of the quarterback's hands, because what does Kyle do? Kyle schemes it up. It's just up to you as the quarterback to make the proper reads, work through your progressions, hit on timing, hit accurately, and let your yak gods do the rest. So that's why I'm opening up to Sam Darnold, especially in a backup capacity, because he is still also 25 years old. So there's still something there, Sam still has the ability. His arm talent has never been the issue. He's got immense arm talent. It's the decision making. It's the processing. If you can get with Kyle, if you can get with Brian Greasy, you can get with Kubiak, and you can cook something up. This actually might be a good spot for Sam Darnold. Again, I'm someone who was vehemently against Sam Darnold being a 49er. I would revolt 2 years ago if the San Francisco 49ers traded for Sam Darnold. I would have went crazy. I would have been so angry. But quarterback 3, you can sell me on quarterback 3. In fact, I've sold myself on quarterback 3. So again, biggest thing with Sam Darnold is if he can limit turnover worthy plays, that is the biggest differentiator. But we'll see. Justin is shocked by what he's hearing because if you followed this ginger beard for a while, you know I'm not about Sam Darnold. And I used to be a big Carson Wentz guy, but it's impossible to be a Carson Wentz guy right now because he's fallen off a cliff. So this is a crazy question because 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I would have said you're crazy if you're picking Sam Darnold over Carson. Today, I might say you're crazy if you're picking Wentz over Darnold. What a time to be alive. This is why I love football, man. Nothing is stagnant. Nothing is predictable. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. This is a perfect example of what football stands for. 3 years ago, if you would have asked me this question, I would have said you're high as a kite if you think Sam Darnold over Carson Wentz. But today, right now, as I'm sitting here in Indianapolis, I'm probably taking Sam Darnold over Carson Wentz. Woo-hoo. What a time to be alive, baby. Quarterback 4, that's Shanny, baby. We got Shanny in the wings, quarterback 4. Uh we might have to get Jawan Jennings in that quarterback 4 role though, if we're being honest. Maybe get so but I think this also again, the quarterback conversation leaves a bigger question is do we draft a quarterback and sign a free agent or one or the other? Brad, we going to talk to anyone on the Panthers about BB? Hey, Scott Fritterer talks. And yes, you can best believe I'm going to ask a Brian Burns related question. Best believe it. It's going to happen. I'm going to do it in a very classy, professional way, but 100% I'm asking Scott Fritterer, the general manager for the Carolina Panthers, a Brian Burns question, and he will have to ask. He'll have to answer me, even if he completely omits and doesn't say anything. He's going to have to answer to this ginger beard about Brian Burns. Hey, Scott, can you just tell me how wonderful Brian Burns is? Hey, Scott, when are you signing that BB extension, or would you be open to a trade? Wasn't me. Pull the Shaggy. Wasn't me. I didn't ask that question. Wasn't me. No, I didn't ask him anything about Brian Burns. Me? No. Never. Oh, that's a good question. Bailey Zappi or Sam Darnold? That's pretty even. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like Bailey a little bit. Bailey's Irish Cream. The Zappy. He had a nice little run that lasted about that long before he got benched for Mac Jones again. There looked like a possibility that Zappy was going to take over for Mac Jones. Like, it was close. But I don't know. Maybe Zappy. That's a good question. I like the youth of Zappy, so I'll go Zappy first. Jarrett Stidham where'd it go? Jarrett Stidham or Matt Ryan? I'm going Jarrett Stidham in a heartbeat. Give me Stidham. I don't think go since he came out of Auburn. I'm a fan. Wouldn't say I'm a fan, but I definitely know who he's been this whole time. And after his performance against the Raiders, I'd give him a shot. Oh yeah, let's go. McDonald's Wi-Fi cooking. We got the McDonald's Wi-Fi cooking right now. Who fits the culture best? Are we talking about quarterbacks? Are we talking about which quarterback fits the culture best? Darnold seems like a chill dude. I don't think he'd have any problems fitting. I feel like Heinicke would fit the best because he's got that dog in him, and the 49ers locker room really seems to gravitate towards that kind of just gritty confidence. Minshew would be wonderful for content. Do I think Sam Ehlinger should start? I'm not gonna pretend like I watched a whole lot of Sam last year, so I don't want to give a super definitive take on something that like I didn't watch him a lot. I watched Sam a lot coming out of Texas. But I haven't really watched him a whole lot, and I know he got some run with the Colts, but I really didn't watch a whole lot. So I don't want to just give you an answer to give you an answer. I'm just going to say I really don't know. Let's see. You guys got some good questions coming in. Heinicke or Marcus? I'll probably still lean on Heinicke. I love Marcus. Mariota? Oh, man. I thought Marcus was going to be so good. Never the same after that leg injury. I might still go with Heinicke. I like his moxie. I like the grit. Colt McCoy or Darnold? I'm going Darnold. McCoy's too old for me. I'm going to take the upside with Darnold. McSorley, Darnold. I'm going Darnold. Do I think Kellen Mond is a bust or not? Well, if you followed my draft coverage, I told you he was a bust from because again, also I was in Mobile, so I was 2 feet away from Kellen Mond all day, every day in practice. Kellen Mond is not a good quarterback. So I think I even tweeted about it. I was like, oh, Kellen Mond successfully went from 7th round undrafted to being a 6th round draft pick because he won the MVP of the Senior Bowl game. And he actually played a decent Senior Bowl game, but you saw all the concerns at practice. Kellen Mond is stiff. He's rigid. He's inconsistent, doesn't have a consistent throwing ability. He doesn't have the confidence in the pocket. Kellen Mond just is not a good quarterback. So yeah, things can change, right? You've seen what's happened with my Sam Darnold evaluation, but being in Mobile for the Senior Bowl, it was no go. I said this guy is trash. He's not good. Um, Not good at all. Um, I can't believe he went as high as he went. Probably helped kind of get that Vikings GM fired for that pick. Um, yeah, Chris Sims said Mond was good. He said Mond was better than Lance and Fields. Yikes. No good. No good. Let's see. So, Justin, on the plane ride over, I started watching McGuire versus Georgia, and McGuire's got some real talent. Like he holds up well in run fits. I'm excited to talk to Isaiah. Shout out to Justin, man. Again, Justin's putting me on these guys. I against Broderick, he had this one beautiful rep against Broadwick. It wasn't a tackle. It wasn't a stat sheet type play. All he did is run fit, shoot the head over the shoulder, playing outside contain, and then just the run goes inside, and he just Broderick right on his face. I'm like, okay, Isaiah. All right. He's got good size, good length, good burst. And again, the fact that he can hold up in the run game, I was like, okay. And again, I still got more to do. But I started watching him versus Georgia, and he seems like a player, man. Like he seems like a guy. And again, it doesn't all have to be stats. Like what he was doing in run fits that didn't contribute to any stats. I was like, it's like, okay. That's what I'm talking about. So yeah, I'm excited to talk to him. I would definitely want to get some questions in for him. What's up, Beta? Checking in on Twitch. Says, hey, Brad, have you seen the D tackle from Iowa? Lucas Van Ness. I haven't. I really haven't. I haven't. I'm so behind still. But I'm really excited to kind of get a good look at these guys. And so, kind of how I'm going into this scouting combine is I don't have a ton of familiarity with these guys. So, it's going to be like a real kind of organic process. Like, and I think back to like my Abe Lucas evaluation last year. I had no idea who Abe Lucas was last year. Going into the combine, not a clue. But again, Abe stood out to me in warmups and then continued to kill the field drills, the testing, and then I went back and watched the tape. The tape matched. So I think that's how I'm going to really kind of handle this week is I am super behind on typically like the where I've been in years past with like scouting and all that stuff. But there's still an opportunity where it's going to be a kind of organic situation, just being able to look at these guys, see who stands out, and then cross reference with tape. I don't have a ton of like perceptions or preconceived notions about any of these players. So it's going to be very organic. I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to kind of catch the vibe and see like you got a vibe that I think could fit what we do, because again, that's why I liked Abe Lucas. I liked Abe Lucas because of the vibe that he had in warmups, and then everything else matched. So it's kind of how I'm going to treat this week. But I have heard that Lucas is like a first round draft pick. And he's going to be going up there pretty high. So I don't know if the 49ers are going to be. I don't know if the 49ers are going to be in the running for that, but they are going to be in the running for edge, cornerback, safety. I think is going to be a target. Obviously, offensive line, defensive line. Um, I actually think they might be okay at linebacker. They might go linebacker late, but you have to remember they still have Oren Burks on the roster, and Marcelino McCrary Ball re-signed, and Demetrius Flanagan Fowles is a restricted free agent, so there's still a chance DFF returns. So if that's the case, they might not even touch linebacker, outside of undrafted free agent or ultra late. But I really do think the main positions of focus here is going to be O line heavy, D line heavy, and both interior D line and edge. Um, they're going to need both. They're also going to be they're going to have to get a tight end too. Tight end too, I think has got to be a priority, man. I think it's got to be up there. And again, you can find good tight ends in third, fourth round. I mean, look at George Kittle, fifth round draft pick. You just got to know what you're looking for. Um, tight end two's got to be an emphasis. I want to see them. I want to see them spend on a tight end too. For how much 12 personnel they run, they gotta have two like legitimate tight ends. So I'm really excited to see which tight ends stand out to me. Um, because again, like I said, it's going to be a little bit of reverse engineering. I'm going to see who tests well, see who has good field drills. Then I'm going to reverse engineer into the film to kind of see if my like combine evaluation matches their tape evaluation, which is going to be fun. I've never done it this way, but I think it's going to be a very interesting way of evaluating. Um, but I'm looking forward to. I think tight end two's got to be a position that they go after. Um, I don't think they have to go super early on cornerback. Again, I think if they try to go rounds, 4 or 5 with cornerback, kind of like they've done in these past years with Womack and Lenore, maybe try it one more time. But I think O line, D line, safety, tight end two. And of course, are they going to draft a quarterback? It's going to be interesting to see what comes of that. Let me get to a couple more of your guys' questions uh, here. How about Austin Hooper and free agency? Wouldn't mind that. I know Kyle likes Austin Hooper. There's definitely familiarity there. I know Hooper likes Kyle. And I would imagine at this stage in his career, you could probably get him for cheap. I mean, he's getting up there. You could definitely get him for cheap. He's like a souped up Tyler Croft. Um, but you still probably want to draft at that point. Are the Niners going to swoop Jonu? I don't know if Jonu totally fits what the 49ers want to do. Um, he's got some good athletic traits, but again, you got to be a blocker first in the scheme. Um, if you don't block, you definitely ain't getting on the field as a tight end too. Just ask Dwelly about that. So not that Jonu isn't capable, you know, of doing all that. Um, I don't know. I don't know if Jonu fits like what I would think they would be after. I could be completely wrong. But I also do think Jonu would probably require decent payday. Is he a free agent? I didn't even see if he's a free agent. Oh, that's right. Jonu got paid by the Patriots. I don't think he's a free agent. Is he a free agent? I don't think he's a free agent. I think he's still under contract. He got paid. That's an interesting one. Dalton Schultz. They're not the Dallas Cowboys aren't going to place the franchise tag on him. So that doesn't make him a free agent. That just means he will be a free agent next year. Right? I could be wrong, but I believe that's where we're at. Pats might release him. I mean, they're probably releasing him for good reason. He didn't do a whole lot, and they paid him a lot of money. Where do you think Odell's going? I feel like Odell's doesn't have a strong market. I don't feel like he's got a strong market. So I don't really know. That's going to be interesting to see. Definitely don't think it's with the 49ers, though. Brunel says, I honestly think for a 1 year, Mike Gesicki might be very good for us. Oh, yeah, he would. Yeah, he would. Gesicki's got some talent. He's not a phenomenal blocker, but he's got some talent. What about Tanyan? And he's an undrafted free agent or unrestricted free agent this season too. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Bring in big Bobby T. Bobby T was he was at the divisional round playoff game against the Cowboys. He was there with Kittle's whole crew. I didn't say what's up, but I saw him. But yeah, man. Bobby T, Kittle. That's like peanut butter and jelly. I would take Bobby T. Bobby he's a dog. And obviously would fit right in with the tight end room. And you probably get him for a good price. I mean, obviously he had the devastating knee injury, so you have to keep that in mind. About 2 years ago, but the combine technically starts tomorrow. So we get our credentials tomorrow. Then we talk to general managers and coaches tomorrow. And the field drills, I think, start on Thursday. Luke Musgrave, if he's available in the third round, I think that would be a reasonable target for sure. Did Kittle cut his hair? Someone posted a pic saying he did. Don't know. Haven't been following Kittle's hair trends. But he does wear it in like a tight. I don't follow Kittle's hair trends as I go on to tell you about Kittle's hair trends. He yes, he does wear it in a ponytail with a hat sometimes that makes it look like he cut his hair, but I will say I don't know. He may have. I don't know. Brunel says, Brad, what are your thoughts on cornerback Eli Ricks from Alabama? Do you think he will be available in the third? To be honest, I'm not too familiar with him, but I will keep an eye out for him. That'll be a name that I try to watch for sure. Let's get some. If you guys have any rapid fire questions, feel free to get them in before we get out of here. I gotta go see if Sleepyhead's woken up. Again, it's 4:30 local time. We got in at 6, which is 3 our time. Didn't sleep. I slept for about 3 hours once we got here. Um, Cody Monch, the O-line from North Dakota State looks like a dog. Yeah, he does. He does. He's this year's Quinn Miners. He can play all 5 positions. He's got that kind of nastiness to him. Yeah, he could be a fit. He looks like one of those 3rd round guys. Doesn't have elite traits, which is probably going to put him in that 3rd round, 4th round category. So he could be a target for sure. How's the weather? The weather so far is a little rainy, but it should clear up. Travis Hunter, underrated, overrated, TBD. What's for dinner tonight? Good question. Well, Jason Aponte is getting in soon, so I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking Yard House, his home away from home. Maybe Yard House. There's a Buca de Beppo right across the street from us. There's also a Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. I would not be opposed to hitting up, get some steak for sure. We got St. Elmo's, I think it was called last time. It was okay. I'm not gonna lie. It was okay. For spending $80 on a tomahawk, it was okay. It was all right. I hate to say it, but I've had better. But great environment. It was cool to go do that. Will you be doing any collab with any other media while at the combine? That's a good question. Probably not here at the combine, but the goal is to run into some people and maybe set some things up for the future. I'm manifesting running into Peter Schrager, and I want to have Peter Schrager on. So if you guys remember, Peter threw me a shout out on Good Morning Football. So I want to see if I can get him on my show. We ran into him last year, so I think we'll probably run into him again. But free agent D tackle Puna from Seattle. Puna Ford actually is low key not a bad target. If he is at a very reasonable cost, I would definitely think about it. My thoughts on Antonio this guy. I've heard some good things about him. I haven't personally done my own research into him, but I've heard some good things. There's some people that I know really like him. He's going to be a guy I'm going to have my eye on for sure. Again, kind of reverse engineering, watch field drills, then go into the tape. But I've heard some good things about him. What round is Jake Haener projected to be drafted? I feel like Haener's got you like 3 to 5 probably. But I do think that the Brock Purdy phenomenon is going to push these quarterbacks up around. So we'll see. Okay, now I'm hungry. And now I need to eat some food. All right, I'm going to go wake up this guy. Hopefully he's up. And I'm going to go get some food. Aponte will be here in about 30 minutes. And then we're going to cook the content tomorrow. Again, general managers and head coaches speak tomorrow. So we'll have an opportunity to ask them questions. John Lynch will speak at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So looking forward to that. But good to catch up with you guys. We'll reconnect tomorrow and make sure to have those post notifications on because I'm going to be posting all kinds of clips and all kinds of content from this weekend or this week, I should say. And we're gonna get our scouting on. So appreciate all you guys as always for tapping in. Appreciate all the questions. Appreciate all the commentary. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Shout out to SDS. You guys are legendary. We're back at the Combine for round 2. We were here last year, and we are back again and looking forward to it all. Appreciate you guys. Smash that like button on your way out. Grab your cookies, all that good stuff. Peace.
Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see you.